Welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Matt.
And Matt, we've been reading a story about Joseph and his brothers. And unfortunately, yesterday, what we read about the relationship between him and his brothers weren't very pleasant. And it ended up with his brothers trading him off or selling him off to traders that passed by.
Yeah.
Well, I know you have an older sister, I have a younger sister. Have you ever, had problems with her sometimes? And when you guys had problems, how did you fix it?
Yeah, well, we sometimes, used to get in arguments or, fights over little things. And, I have to say, unfortunately for myself, there were never traders passing through my town, so I wasn't able to sell my sister to them.
Well, I'm sure that even if you did, you would regret it.
Well, who knows? Who knows how things would be different today? But anyway, unfortunately, that wasn't an option, so I had to, talk to my sister and work out these problems so that we could make our relationship better.
And I bet you guys are best friends now.
Of course.
Okay, well, we're going to see what happens to Joseph now after he has been sold off to these traders and where he goes off to next.
The traders took Joseph to Egypt. They sold him to Potiphar, the captain of the Pharaoh's guard. Joseph worked hard and soon earned Potiphar's trust. Then Potiphar's wife told a lie about him, and Joseph found himself in prison.
All right, today we are looking at part 2 of our story called Joseph and His Brothers. So let's get into it. The traders took Joseph to Egypt. They sold him to Potiphar, the captain of the Pharaoh's guard. Okay, so this person that they sold him to, Potiphar, is an important person because he's the captain of the Pharaoh's guard. And the Pharaoh is like the king there in Egypt, so he's the captain of the king's guard or the Pharaoh's guard. And if you are the captain of something, it means you are the leader or the most important person within a group of people. You might think of a captain on a sports team. Usually that's the person who is the boss of the sports team. Or you might also know Captain America, who's like the boss of all the other superheroes in those Marvel movies.
Okay, and here we also have the word guard, which is a noun that usually talks about a person, an animal, or a device that keeps people or things safe from danger, harm, or theft. But in this case, we can also use guard to talk about a group of people that does the same thing. So we're talking about the king's guard or the Pharaoh's guard. So they are a group of guards. They are a group of people that will keep the Pharaoh safe. An example sentence we have here is, the guard did not let the precious crown out of his sight. But sometimes we can also use guard as a verb, which means to watch over, protect, or keep something from getting stolen or hurt.
All right, time to go to Tina.
Hello, I'm Tina. 今天我们继续来看看故事约瑟和他的兄长。上次提到约瑟的兄长把约瑟卖给商人，而那些商人把约瑟带到埃及，又把他卖给了法老的守卫波提乏。课文单字 captain 名词就表示队长。The captain encouraged everyone before the game started. 比赛开始前，队长鼓励了所有人。Guard 名词守卫。A guard opened the door for the visitors. 一名守卫替访客打开了门。接着我们回到课文当中。
Thank you, Tina. Let's get back to our story. Joseph worked hard and soon earned Potiphar's trust. Well, throughout the story, we know that actually Joseph is a pretty good person. He's hardworking, and he tells the truth when he's depicting these messages of dreams, right? So it's good that he worked hard in Egypt, and to have somebody so important like Potiphar to trust him, I think that is really good for Joseph. It'll keep him safe.
And so to have someone's trust, well, trust is a noun, which means the belief that someone or something is reliable, is true, or is able to do something. So if you trust something, you believe that it can do what it's supposed to do, or that it tells the truth, or that it's just always going to be there and not going to, go against you or do things that are bad for you. All right, continuing on. Then Potiphar's wife told a lie about him, and Joseph found himself in prison. Okay, so Potiphar's wife told a lie about Joseph, and it must have been something very bad because Joseph was now in prison.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens after we see Tina.
约瑟做事勤奋，很快就赢得了波提乏的信任。后来，波提乏的妻子说谎诬陷约瑟，他因此入狱了。我们来看看单字 trust， 名词，信任。It takes time to build trust between friends. 建立朋友之间的信任需要时间。文法的部分刚刚提到了 tell a lie， 说谎。lie 在这里是名词，意思是谎话。举例来说 ，Never tell a lie to the people who care about you。绝对不要对在乎你的人说谎。Joseph found himself in prison。Joseph 入狱了。Find oneself in 加名词，表示某人自觉身处于某状态或某地。Prison 指的是监狱。In prison 就是固定用法咯，指的是坐牢。我们来看看这两个例句。Owen found himself in a small village with no phone signal. Owen 发现自己身处在一个没有手机讯号的小村庄。Signal 就是讯号。Tom spent 10 years in prison for the crime. Tom 因那项罪行在监狱里坐了10年牢。接着我们回到课文当中。
All right, and we are back. So we've learned a bit more about what Joseph has done now that he is in Egypt. But it's time for us to take a short break, and we'll be back for the second part of the story.
There, he helped a servant with his dream. Later, the servant told the Pharaoh about Joseph and his gift. The Pharaoh had someone bring Joseph from prison. He told Joseph his dream. Joseph explained there would be 7 years of good crops with extra food, and then 7 years of no crops.
Welcome back. Before the break, we learned that Joseph has been sent to prison because Potiphar's wife told a lie about him. Okay, so we're going to see what happens to Joseph while he's in prison. There, he helped a servant with his dream. Okay, so this servant, he had a dream and he was talking to Joseph about it, and he thought that it was a bad dream, but it turned out that Joseph was able to help explain to the servant what happened in his dream and what it all means.
All right, yeah, because we learned before that Joseph is very good at reading people's dreams, telling them the meaning of their dreams.
Okay, so a servant is someone who helps others by doing jobs for them, such as cleaning, cooking, or taking care of personal needs. So usually a king or a pharaoh, they will have lots of servants in their palace or castle to help them with things so that they don't have to get their hands dirty. An example sentence is, The servant got up early every morning to make sure everything was ready before the family woke up.
All right, getting back to the article, or back to the story, I should say. Later, the servant told the Pharaoh about Joseph and his gift. Okay, so his gift meaning his ability to read dreams, to tell the meaning of people's dreams. All right, let's go to Tina.
在监狱中，约瑟靠解梦帮助了一名仆人。之后，那名仆人把约瑟和他的解梦天赋告诉法老。我们来看看课文单字 servant 名词仆人。The old servant cleans the house every morning. 那位老仆人每天早上都会打扫房子。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, welcome back. Let's get right into our story. The Pharaoh had someone bring Joseph from prison. He told Joseph his dream. Okay, so the Pharaoh, he had been having lots of bad dreams, and it's been really frustrating for him because he's having the same bad nightmare night after night, and he doesn't know what it all means. And until he heard from the servant that there's this person in prison called Joseph who might be able to help him.
Well, it's very lucky for Joseph as well, because now his gift has gotten him at least free from prison, at least to meet with the Pharaoh for a bit. Joseph explained there would be 7 years of good crops with extra food, and then 7 years of no crops. Okay, so he's read the Pharaoh's dream. He's told the Pharaoh what the dream means, and it means 7 years of lots of food and good crops, and 7 years of, I guess, no food and no crops. So a crop is a plant that is grown in a large amount because it is used for food, or that it can be sold for money, can be made into maybe something else. So crops are plants that are useful, and they are so useful that you grow them in a large amount on a farm so that you can sell them or eat them. So for example, wheat is a very common food crop.
And of course, this would be very important information for the Pharaoh so that he could prepare for what's going to happen for the next 14 years.
That's right. If you're going to have 7 years of good crops, you probably want to start to save some of those crops, save some food for these 7 years of bad crops. All right, let's go to Tina now.
法老派人把约瑟从监狱带出来，并把自己的梦告诉他。约瑟解释说，接下来有7年会是丰收，粮食充裕，然后是7年的欠收，毫无收成。我们来看看单字 crop 名词收成。Farmers hope for a good crop this year. 农民们希望今年有好的收成。文法的部分刚刚提到了 A has be 加动词 A 要 B 做某事 has 在这里是使役动词，后面需要接原形动词。举例来说 Lily had the kids clean the garage. Lily 要孩子们清扫车库。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, so at this point of our story, we've learned that Joseph was able to help the Pharaoh depict what his dream meant, and we'll see if the Pharaoh takes his advice on anything.
Yeah, or how this works out for Joseph, because he was just in prison. Will he go back to prison? Well, we'll have to wait to find out tomorrow. So we will see you then.
The traders took Joseph to Egypt. They sold him to Potiphar, the captain of the Pharaoh's guard. Joseph worked hard and soon earned Potiphar's trust. Then Potiphar's wife told a lie about him, and Joseph found himself in prison. There he helped a servant with his dream. Later, the servant told the Pharaoh about Joseph and his gift. The Pharaoh had someone bring Joseph from prison. He told Joseph his dream. Joseph explained there would be 7 years of good crops with extra food, and then 7 years of no crops.
我们来复习一下这一课的重点单字跟文法。单字的部分 Captain 名词队长， Guard 名词守卫， Trust 名词信任， Servant 名词仆人， Crop 名词收成。接着我们来看文法的部分。 Tell a lie 说谎， Pinocchio's nose grows longer when he tells a lie。当 Pinocchio 说谎时，他的鼻子会越变越长。Joseph found himself in prison. Joseph 入狱了。Find oneself in 加名词，表示某人自觉身处于某状态或某地。In prison 坐牢。We weren't careful and soon found ourselves in trouble. 我们不够谨慎，然后很快就发现自己惹上了麻烦。Sean was in prison for almost 10 years. Sean 坐了将近10年的牢。A has be 加动词 A 要 B 做某事。Wayne had his children help him wash his car. Wayne 要他的孩子帮他洗车。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见喽，拜拜。
If you're in the mood for some shopping and delightful snacks, you might be interested in visiting today's location, Yizhong Street. So, come on, let's see what's happening on Yizhong Street. Yizhong Street is one of the most popular shopping districts in Taichung. Being close to many educational institutions makes it a favorite hangout for students. There are plenty of shops and street food stands in the Yizhong shopping district. Most stores on Yizhong Street open around noon and close late at night, giving you plenty of time to shop. So whether you're looking for stylish outfits or tasty treats, there's something for everyone. Since a lot of the shops are open until pretty late, you can really take your time and leisurely stroll around as you enjoy what Yizhong Street has to offer. See you there!